from Bowie, Maryland, and we are sitting in my first total rehab and resale property. The property is in Capitol Heights, Maryland, and it was actually a wholesale deal. It was wholesaled to me by Dave and Neil, another Realinvestors teaming partners. And I actually did not purchase the property until April. There was some additional delays and hiccups with title. So I took possession in April, towards the end of April. And of course, by then we were in the throes, 4 weeks into the pandemic. And so there were several issues that caused delays. Well, first of all, the property was a complete wreck. And there were major issues structurally. So where I had initially planned for a quick, cleanup job structurally, it turned out that I just could not do that. And if I did, I was not going to be able to get a 4-bedroom, title out of it or name. So as I mentioned, I purchased this property sight unseen, and but I knew that it was a good area. But nonetheless, we literally were at the beginnings of the pandemic when it was under discussion for wholesale to me, which was the end of February, March timeframe. So what I had originally negotiated with my hard money lender the rug was being pulled from under me with regards to the amount of monies that I could secure from that particular hard money lender. And so with the assistance of Sherman, Jesse, and the rest of their teams, we went back to the seller, or rather they went back to the seller to renegotiate that price. And we were able to get the property at a reduced amount. It was about $25,000 less than initially priced. So after I took possession of the house and got in here to have a look, I realized that it was a mess and it was still full of contents of items that had to be removed. And once that happened, we faced a lot of issues. The first being that there was a set of spiral staircases leading down into the basement that were not to code. And so that caused us to pause and try to figure out how to navigate that. Because without stairs that are to code, I would not be able to have bedrooms in the basement. So once we realized that the spiral stairs were not to code, that meant I was not going to be able to rent this property as a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, until we resolved the matter with the stairs. And so I spoke to a couple of contractors and it wasn't looking good. And so I had to go back and rethink. So I had to make the calculated decision that I needed to figure out how I was going to solve the stair problem, because I needed it to be a 4-bedroom. Otherwise, I was going to, at best, break even, at worst, lose money, which I was not prepared to do. So another member of Realinvestors, Stephanie Terry, Sherman had me contact her because she's a bit more familiar with this particular area and these kinds of rehabs. And so that was all happening between May, June, having these conversations, thinking things through, speaking to architects and the like. Meanwhile, I get a citation because someone happens to come by, I guess from the county, and says, the place looks like trash and wanted to fine me $50,000. Oh, did I also mention that they'd stolen the HVAC unit outside, as well as there was an oil tank full of oil from God knows 1950 that I had to deal with. So as you can imagine, that was just on top of all the other, extra stuff going on. And oh, by the way, this is not my full-time job, so this was becoming like a real challenge for me to get this resolved. But nonetheless, Stephanie brought out her contractor and he came in and right away felt like he could handle it. And what he was going to have to do was literally gut the entire interior of the house, including the stairs, and move some walls around, move the back door around in order to install stairs that would pass code. So that was the plan. So anyway, got through all that, submitted the plans, or not me, but the contractor submitted the plans for approval and permitting. But again, because we were in the middle of the pandemic, it took 9 weeks to get that through. So we did not actually start construction until October 21st, 2020. And again, it was a complete gut job. Everything had to be ripped out. It was, all the way down to not just the studs, in many cases down to the bare concrete. So with the decision that I had to do a complete rehab, I could not go back to the hard money lender, or rather I didn't think that I had time to go back to the hard money lender. And so I just made the decision that I would invest my cash to do the complete rehab, which is about $97,000. And that was a calculated decision because to not do that, I would have lost money. So nonetheless, with the initial investment, I had actually not put any cash down. I had an investor for the $25,000 that I needed to close originally. So the cost of the property was $125,000, of which I used $25,000 of a partner, David Allen, and hard money loan for the remaining $99,000 or so. And then, with the rehab, the cost, basically is between $95,000 to $97,000. And so it took, like I said, the rehab started October 21st. So about 8 weeks, because remember we had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, we had New Year's, for it to be completed. And I'm standing in the property now, and it's January 14th, and we're about to list the property for $352,000. So basically I will gross $230,000, pay myself back the $97,000 that I put in, and a gross profit of about $130,000. My name is Clare Hines from Bowie, Maryland, and I just profited $130,000 on my first total rehab, and I'm a real investor getting real checks.